Elise, my beloved sister, I feel on cloud nine right now, and I can't wait to share this great news with you.
Oh, what is it, brother? The way you say it makes me feel happy and excited for you already. Tell me, did the employers finally say yes to your job application?
Well, not exactly about that, but it doesn't make it any less exciting. As a matter of fact, it's a piece of news that's even more captivating than me getting a job. Look, as I joined my friend's party the other day, I accidentally bumped into this amazingly hot and rich girl. We did a small talk and I was completely blown away when I got to know her family background. Her dad is a hospital director and her mum works as a manager at a bank branch. At the end of our conversation, we even exchanged numbers. Can you believe it?
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear it. But seriously, Michael, you need to stop wasting time on meaningless parties. I mean, you've been jobless for 5 years already. Don't you think it's time for you to wake up, face reality, and, find a stable job to be more financially independent? You're about to turn 35 this year, so you can't just rely on our parents and my paycheck for the rest of your life, can you?
Elise, you're such a wet blanket. I've had enough of your lectures and I surely don't need you to tell me what to do with my own life. Listen, this new girl I just met, Hayley, it's the doorway to my future success. You know that. She even asked me out on a date this Friday, which is totally freaking awesome and unexpected. I can't miss this once-of-a-lifetime opportunity, Elise.
So just go out with her. There's nothing to be concerned about.
But, Elise, it's not as easy as you make it all seem like. My mind was driving me crazy as I didn't come up with any good plan to steal her heart and rush her to come to reach a commitment with me. Nevertheless, an idea just suddenly crossed my mind while I'm talking to you.
Michael, the best way you can charm a girl is to be yourself. But I hear you out anyway. So, what's your plan?
Okay, my plan is to borrow your husband's fancy car, come to Hayley's place to pick her up, and finally take her to a fine dining restaurant.
Well, I don't know, Michael, but I'm afraid it's not a good strategy. First off, you're still having to depend on other people's income to pay for your own bills. So how can you handle the expensive costs of a luxurious restaurant by yourself? Moreover, why on earth do you need my husband's car? You already have your own car, right?
Elise, darling, how can you impress a well-off girl like Hayley with my clunker? I mean, that four-banger makes weird sounds like 1,000 frogs farting in unison. By the way, I'm also planning to borrow some cash to pay for the luxurious dinner too, which I think is obviously not a problem for prosperous people like you and your husband, right?
Michael, this isn't right. What you're trying to do is deceive her into thinking that you're an affluent guy. How is that going to help you win Hayley's love?
I know. It's just to give me a head start. Think about it in a rational way, Elise. If Hayley ever found out that I'm nothing but a ragtag and bobtail person, would she give me any chance to make my way into her heart? I bet not. Not in a million years.
Well, I haven't met her yet, so it's difficult to tell.
See, you're not so sure about it yourself. But if I approach her as someone who is of her own social status, she'll feel that I'm more worthy to talk to her and open up to me more, which leads to eventual chemistry between the two of us. By then, I would confidently and conveniently show her my true self, and she'll still love me regardless.
So, you want to borrow my money and my husband's car. Is that correct?
Yes, and no more than that. Please, Elise, you're the one and only sister I've ever had. You always treat me so nicely, and whenever I have it rough, you do the best of your ability, so that I can overcome any challenges I encounter. Honestly, for everything you've done to help me so far, I really consider you my second mother, Elise.
Of course I will always be there for you, no matter what happens. You're my big brother, my family. How could I do it any other way?
So, you agree to lend me your husband's car and some money, right? Please, Elise, this is my one and only shot to get out of the financial stagnance that I've been dealing with for years. Maybe once I get to know Haley to a certain degree, she'll come up with a way to help me find a job in her mum or dad's workplace. Isn't it great, Elise?
Oh, Michael. Haven't I always been trying to tell you that we're the most reliable ally of ourselves? Last time, I remember it didn't end so well between you and your ex-girlfriend. You asked me to come up with pickup lines so that you could impress her, and she actually fell for it. But when you guys actually met in person, you froze like a statue and you had nothing else to say other than complimenting her bum. She was so offended that she made up an excuse and headed home right away without even looking back at you.
Hey, Elise, stop being so mean to me. I thought we agreed on not reminding ourselves about it anymore. On the other hand, my flirting skills are getting better and better at incredible speed. That's why I'm pretty confident that I can make Haley deeply fall in love with me in no time. All there's left to do is for you to give me the right tools to shine. So, what do you say, Elise? Do we have a deal?
Okay, fine. Honestly, I still hold on to my thoughts that lying to someone to make them like you is a totally dull idea. With that being said, you're still my brother and I should help you the best way I can.
That's my sister. I know that I can always count on you no matter what. I'll come over to your house and get the car on Friday, okay?
Hey, Michael, what happened to my husband's car? I can't even recognize it anymore. It's a complete mess now.
What do you mean? The car still looks fine. Well, I hit a lamppost and the car took some minor scratches, but nothing more serious than that.
What? You call these minor scratches? The front windshield is completely broken in pieces. The front bumper is totally crushed, and the rear view mirror is nowhere to be found. What is this all about, Michael?
Easy, Elise. Don't raise your voice to your own brother like that. I mean, maybe I exceeded the speed limit a little and got the car to endure some damages. But it was just because I was over the moon when Haley agreed to go on another date. She even praised how good-looking and well-dressed I was. Another thing I can say with confidence that my flirting techniques definitely knocked her off her feet.
Oh, I'm so glad that the $5,000 suit you borrowed from my husband actually fit you well. Now back to our main topic. What are you gonna do to compensate for my husband's car?
Compensate? What are you talking about, Elise? We're family, right? Don't say to me that you're hard-hearted enough to make your own brother pay for the damaged car, aren't you?
Michael, you insisted on borrowing my husband's car, and it's your duty to return it to my husband in one piece. You can't just rely on the fact that we're family members to conveniently shake off your responsibility.
I know, Elise, I know, but I just couldn't imagine that a Porsche Cayman would be so difficult to control. Fortunately, the little accident happened after I drove Haley home, or else I would be in deep trouble.
Yeah, good for you. Again, what course of action are you gonna take to help my husband fix his car? Did you know that my husband spent nearly $150,000 for that car?
Geez, relax, Elise. Your husband's nickels and dimes are nothing compared to what I'm going to gain from Haley's family. In fact, I'll be able to pay you guys back for your stupid car soon enough. So please stop nagging at me, okay?
You're incredibly ungrateful, Michael. After finally getting your hands on what you want, you decided to turn your back on me and Asher, right?
Oh, come on, Elise. Don't always exaggerate everything like that. I was just so pissed off to hear you complain non-stop about Asher's car. I'm sorry, okay? By the way, I heard Mum said that your whole family's going on a vacation next week, right?
Yeah. We will be traveling to Italy next week because my husband was granted some days off.
How long are you going to stay there?
Well, no more than 5 days. But why all of a sudden are you interested in my family's vacation?
Well, I was just wondering if you need anyone to look after your house. I mean, it's a grand villa with a lot of expensive furniture. It would be careless if you just leave the house unattended while you're away, right? Did you know that my neighbor's house was broken into yesterday? The thief stole all of their precious jewels. According to the police, the estimated loss could cover up to over $85,000.
Really? I haven't heard about it, but we didn't intend to leave the house unoccupied. I look up on the internet and hire a house sitter.
What? A house sitter? Are you seriously gonna let strangers come into your house? That doesn't make any sense.
So, what do you suggest, Michael?
Well, as your older brother, I want to help you save some time and money finding a house sitter by taking care of the house on your behalf.
Do you really mean it, Michael?
Of course I do. I always have to take responsibility for what I did to Ash's car. You can consider this as an act of compensation. You're welcome. No need to thank me.
Michael, where are you? Michael! Answer me now!
Oh, hey Elise. Have you already come back from your trip? Tell me, did you have a great time? I bet you did. I mean, if spending your husband's big money without having to lift a finger isn't the easiest thing in the world, then I don't have a clue what is.
You know what? I am not amused by your mocking tone at all. How dare you ask me such a question? Yes, I was having the best time of my life until I got home and saw this disaster in my house. What have you done to our house, Michael?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a disaster. I mean, the doormat was covered in some mud, the curtain rod did break and cause the curtains to fall out of the wall. Some of the paintings have holes on it. What else? Oh, maybe some antiques are a little misplaced. Oops, I also forgot to take the wall clock out of the bathtub. So, you can help me take care of that. But overall, your house is still in good condition, just as before you left.
Michael, you can't imagine how furious I am right now. What on earth did you actually do to turn our dream house into this waste yard? First, my husband's car. Now, our house? You're becoming impossible to put up with, Michael.
Geez, calm down for a split second, will you? Honestly, you should be thanking me for taking care of everything in your house without demanding a single penny. You would have to pay at least $500 for other people to come and watch over your place.
Oh, should I bow down to express my gratitude?
Yeah, you bet. I even made your house the most popular party spot in the neighborhood. It's a shame your family wasn't here to tune in with the excitement of the night. Man, it was wild, Elise. But the most important of it all is that I got Haley to come over, and we had a lot of fun.
You did what? You threw a house party at my place without even asking for my permission firsthand? You know what? I cannot tolerate your lies and your awful behaviors any longer. This has to stop, and you have to be stopped.
What are you saying, Elise? I'm so close to getting my hands on Haley's enormous family fortune. You can't just abandon me halfway like this. You know what? I even proposed to her during the party, and she said yes. That's kinda insane when you think about it.
Oh, good for you. But are you aware of the fact that none of the things you said to her were true? What I'm trying to say is, everything you claimed that you own, including the clothes you wear, the car you drive, and the house in which you threw the party, belongs to me and my husband. You're doing nothing but deluding your girlfriend into believing that you're actually living a lavish lifestyle. Michael, I can say with certainty that it won't work out between you and your girlfriend.
What do you mean by girlfriend? She's my fiancée now. However, we haven't officially engaged yet, so I still have one last favor to ask for. Elise, my loving sister, can you somehow make me, replace your husband's place at his company? I know that Ash is holding a key position which allows him to earn over $170,000 per year. If I'm not mistaken, he's the director, right?
Michael, have you just lost your mind? How can you come up with such a ridiculous proposal? You borrowed my husband's car and clothes, our house, and now you even dare to ask to usurp his position at the workplace? Your pathological lying is totally incurable, Michael.
Oh, come on, Elise. Just take a chill pill and hear the rest of my story, okay? It's just that I was chit-chatting with Haley. I got carried away and happened to, claim myself the director of a big firm. But how can you blame me? I mean, at least I had to come up with some reasonable explanations for the $1 million worth villa I'm living in.
Oh, yeah. That's totally understandable.
After that, regardless of how many times I tried to say no, Haley still insisted on paying a visit to my company. Elise, please sympathize with me. I'm sure that if you were in my position, you would be inclined to have come up with the same reason, right?
Sure, but the difference between us is that I never lie and get myself into the same absurdity that you're dealing with right now. Look, why don't you just man up? Just this once and let Haley know the truth.
Pfft, what are you even thinking about? I can't just blurt out saying that none of these things I told her about is accurate. It's no different than claiming myself a liar.
So you're still conscious of the fact that you're a chronic liar, huh? I'm truly amazed by that.
Look, all I need your husband to do is to pretend that I was in his position for one day. He'll become my assistant and tell me how to handle things. You know, just give me useful advice on how to maintain professionality. Oh, you can show up at the company and become my secretary as well, if you would like. The more the merrier, you know.
Michael, I'm warning you that your lies are pushing things way too far. If you don't stop before it's too late, everything will soon be out of control and you'll be facing unavoidably terrible consequences.
I know. Just help me one last time, okay? Once my business is done, I won't bother you and your husband anymore.
Fine. After all, you're my brother. How could I say no to you?
Yes, I knew you would lower your ego and help your brother out. You never disappoint me, Elise. Elise, I thought you agreed to lend me a helping hand. What was that all about? Why did you and your husband make me a complete idiot in Haley's eyes?
Well, we didn't do anything, actually. It was you who directed the whole screenplay from the beginning till the end, wasn't it? Me and Asher just played along.
Why didn't you inform other staff in your husband's company about my presence in advance? And you should have told me their names too. I got their names all wrong. It was so embarrassing.
Well, you bet. You don't know how much I have to refrain myself from bursting into laughter. Oh, and the fact that you held the contract upside down was totally hilarious. You should have seen your face while you were muddling up trying to figure out where to sign on it. Your girlfriend was really disappointed when you asked your assistant to help you with signing a simple contract.
It was your husband's trap. He intentionally gave me the contract upside down.
Oh, but that wasn't the best part of it all, right? My husband forgot to tell you that he had an important meeting that day. And surprisingly, Asher's business partner that day was actually Haley's father, Mr. Calvin.
You deliberately withheld the information that Haley's father was coming that day so that you could humiliate me in front of him, right? I knew you were up to no good. Why was I stupid enough to put my trust in you? I should have trusted my instincts.
I humiliated you? Think again. From the way I see it, it was you who made fun of yourself. You were completely clueless and failed to answer every one of Haley's father's questions regarding his business. Mr. Calvin was so out of patience that he said, "Why do you even consider yourself the director?" But I bet he was really struggling not to call you all sorts of crazy things.
You and your husband are heartless people. But I'm still the one who gets the last laugh. Because after all, your husband did miss a $34 million 10-year contract, right? He'll be responsible for causing the company to lose so much money.
Well, after that, it took me and my husband quite a while to actually explain to Mr. Calvin what was going on. But it was all worth it to throw you off your mask and reveal your white lies. After all we were doing was just to spare Mr. Calvin's daughter from being engaged to a loser like you. He understood that he was willing to give my husband another chance to revisit the contract.
How dare you treat me like this? This isn't funny at all. And it's not the kind of thing that a sister should do to her brother.
I guess it was kinda harsh when Haley dashed the ring to the ground and trampled it beneath her feet, right? And I bet you could still feel the pain and humiliation from her slap. I hope you learn an invaluable lesson, Michael. And by the way, we're still suing you for damaging my husband's car and wrecking our house. So be prepared. My brother's lies were finally exposed, and he was forced to take responsibility for his actions. However, he should consider himself lucky that we only demanded $100,000 in compensation, which was a small price to pay for the damage he caused to our car and our home. When our parents learned of Michael's wrongdoing to me, they were furious. They immediately cut him off financially and kicked him out of the house. Michael was forced to rent a small house nearby, and he still struggled to build a career on his own. We already knew from the beginning that a jobless man like Michael would never be able to pay us back such a large sum of money, so we eventually withdrew our complaint. We can only hope that he has learned his lesson and will realize that even seemingly harmless lies can have serious consequences.